episode of the Purple Rain podcast in 2026, previewing the Ravens and the Steelers. Indeed. Welcome back to episode 365 of the Purple Rain podcast. And Sutton brought this up before, episode 365 on the first day of the year. Pretty interesting how things work out that way. Patrick McCarry episode, Chris Chester episode of the Purple Rain podcast. And we have a lot to talk about this episode, not just, preview. We got some news about 15 minutes ago from the main source himself, not a third party source, from the primary freaking source. Good vibes here in Baltimore. Winning, you're in. But first off, like I said, Happy New Year. Thank you for coming through on this New Year's Day. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day. To this real quick. My day started off really weird. 3:30 a.m. I got a national weather news alert about a snow squall, I believe, happening. Never heard of that in my life before. So I've kind of got a bad night's sleep, but it's fine. It's fine. We're here. We're ready to talk about it.
A snow what?
A snow squall, I believe, is what it's called. Yeah, a snow squall.
What is that?
So what a snow squall is intense, short-lived bursts of heavy snowfall that leads to a quick reduction in visibilities and is often accompanied by gusty winds.
So
here I am.
You can't drive in it.
Exactly. And they sent out the alert to my phones, and my phone went crazy. I keep it right next to my bed. I'm thinking something crazy happened. I'm thinking the worst of the worst possible. I look at them oh, don't drive. That's how my New Year started. Running a little sleep, but it's fine. Here to talk about the Ravens. Here to talk about really just positive vibes. But how was your day, Sutton, before I bring up, everything else? How was your New Year? That's the most important thing.
Hey, man, the new year has been nothing but blessings thus far. I'm only, a little bit over 12 hours into it, but been feeling good so far. Gotten a lot of rest today. Have not really been outside all that much. Here down in Texas, it's actually probably around I think it's 72 degrees. So I went outside on my balcony earlier and, felt good, kind of reflected on last year and thought about, everything that I want to do this year. And I'm not the type of person who sets New Year's resolutions and things like that, because I don't like to set myself to unrealistic, expectations and standards and things like that. I just kind of like to reflect on where I was and think about where I'm going. You know what I mean? I think that's probably the better way to do it for me, at least. So that's what I did a lot today. But overall, I mean, it's been a great start to the new year. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk about some Ravens football. Like you said, Alex, we got a lot to talk about on this episode. I mean, we weren't live yesterday, but we're going to be covering a whole bunch of news, right, from the last 48 to 72 hours. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you lock in and like the video. Subscribe to the channel. This is the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Again, a Baltimore Ravens podcast. If you're new here, again, hit that sub button. Also, if you want exclusive content, maybe consider joining our memberships as well. Those should be listed down below in the description. But again, 365, like you said, kicking off the new year with episode 365. I think that is very poetic, to say the least. But we got to bring up who's here in the live chat. I've already brought up a couple. We got Coach in here, Sip to Tally Films. What's up, Coach? Appreciate you for coming through. Salutes you. Happy New Year to you, brother. Let me see. Void in the chat says Happy New Year. What's going on, Void? Happy New Year to you. Ashley, another one of our members, says Happy New Year. We got King Blaze in the chat. What's going on, King Blaze? Shout out to you. Let me see. I saw RJ.
What up?
RJ in the chat says, first stream of the new year. I pray for a successful year for you guys. Appreciate that, RJ.
Likewise.
Yeah, likewise. From the bottom of our hearts, man, we appreciate all of you guys coming through here and rocking out with us here at Purple Rain Podcast. The Hawk TV, another one of our members in the house, says, I wish I was going to the game. It's probably going to be a crazy atmosphere in Acrisure. I'm sure of that. Shelly in the house says, Happy New Year, good people. Another one of our members. Happy New Year to you, Shelly. Appreciate you for coming through. We got Zico Kage in the chat. We also have Chike in the chat. Happy New Year to all of you guys. We appreciate y'all, again, for coming through to this episode. So, Alex, let's get into it, right? And Daryl, I see you in the chat, too. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
You guys see the title of the video. Last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, there was an article put out by the Baltimore Sun most specifically by one Mike Preston, right? And this article highlighted a bunch of things that Lamar Jackson was allegedly doing or not doing. They were saying that he was not staying awake in meetings. They were saying that he was staying up late playing video games. And again, when I say they, I mean Mike Preston. And this is for you, Mike Preston. And Alex kind of he enlightened me to some information that came from Mike Preston and kind of trying to cover up and cover his own ass, right? And Alex, I want you to get to that. But first, let's go ahead and bring up the Ravens starting quarterback, Lamar Jackson, who we're going to talk about at length in this episode, what he had to say about this article from Mike Preston. Let's hear it.
I heard I'll be playing the game at like 1 or 2 in the morning. I won't even do that during the summer, so I don't know where that comes from either. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know where that comes from.
Yeah, Lamar, they said that you had fallen asleep at meetings. How would you respond to that?
Do you think Harbaugh let me fall asleep? That's crazy. I'm right in the front. Like, man, I don't know, man. It is what it is. Like I said, it's just noise.
But for fans, I mean, fans do ask, like, does Lamar want to be here? Is he where he wants to be? What do you say to that?
Man, absolutely.
Alex, your thoughts?
He doesn't even play him in the summer. And that is very true. We all have those days in the summer during summer break, staying up on the game with our friends. Yeah. But I can say this, Lamar is not lying. Because if you watch The Wired and they show those team meetings, Lamar is always in the front. Like first or second row. He's right there. So that right there is 100% truth from him. And like you brought up, I watched a bit of Mike Preston's, I want to say, stream, podcast, whatever you want to call it. He basically said that he put this article out because he felt Lamar needed it, which his words, not mine. It's on his Twitter. Mike Preston, go and look at it. The clip is there. Don't know how a 2-time MVP, should be 3-time, needs any inspiration from a guy who not a lot of people take seriously in the locker room, but that's neither here nor there. But it's just good to hear it from the main source himself. Lamar kind of just throw it out the window because that's all it is. A bunch of baloney, honestly.
Yeah, it is. And, like you mentioned last week, he's a bitch for that. Let's just call it for what it is. I mean, like, the fact that, you put out this article with just blatant lies, right? Not like no real reporting, no real journalism, nothing like that. And you just come out and you say, oh, Lamar Jackson, he needs to stop playing video games. He needs to stop falling asleep in meetings. Where did you get this information from? Cite your fucking sources. Show us where you got this information from. Because for Lamar Jackson to come out and say himself that, I mean, you really think John Harbaugh would allow me to fall asleep in meetings? I'm right there in the front. Again, like you said, in the Ravens Wired, you can see him. He's right there in the front and center. The quarterbacks sit right there front and center. So you cannot tell me that, I mean, he's falling asleep in meetings and not be able to provide proof. Like, we should be able to see that at some point. You know what I mean? And then when it comes to the video game thing, like you said, he debunked that too. He said, I wouldn't even play video games in the summer through the late night, let alone in the season. Again, Mike Preston, cite your fucking sources. Don't get on the internet, right? And start talking and start saying all these things about how Lamar Jackson should be doing this and shouldn't be doing that. And you have nothing to back it up. It makes no sense at all. It was a nasty article from the get-go. I mean, I subscribed to the Baltimore Sun just to read the entire article. And so I could share it with, the masses, right? So nobody else had to buy it, right? And I automatically unsubscribed from it. But so yeah, you're welcome for the $1, Mike Preston. You're welcome for the $1, and I get your articles for 6 months, $1. But yeah, man. Overall, it's just nasty, dog. And I can't, like, going into this new year, Alex. Like, I'm not really putting up with the bullshit anymore. I'm done with the bullshit, right? Like, that was one of the things that I was thinking about when I was sitting out on my balcony, maybe about 30 minutes ago. I'm done with the bullshit. Cut the crap and talk to me straight, Mike. You know what I mean? And you mentioned Femi Ayambadejo talking about I think you said on the Vault, right?
He was Bobby. He was Bobby on his stream, just riding solo. And Femi Ayambadejo Super Bowl 35 winner on the 2000 team, was with us for a couple years, and he mentioned himself. He said, because he even mentioned he went to school, as a journalism major. I mean, I'm major, so kind of, two great things: a football player and a guy who went to school for this. He said, he didn't graduate, he switched majors, but he knew the basics of it. And what he said is that this guy never, cited his sources. Nobody in the locker room trusted him. Nobody liked him. And think about when he was here. We're talking early 2000s, late 90s. So this has been going on now for possibly 30 years.
Yeah. Again, crazy stuff. I don't understand how you can, again, fix your fingers to type up an article that just, I don't know, just false, right? Just falsehoods, just lying, straight up lying, right? I don't know. Maybe they should give one of us the job. I think we would do a lot better job than Mike Preston writing for the Baltimore Sun, or it's time to hang it up, Mike. Hang it up, Mike.
I think what's really like the worst part about it is that everybody else took it and ran with it. ESPN took it and ran with it. First Things First took it and ran with it.
Took it for face value.
Yeah, you're spreading false information, and he's not going to face any repercussions from it. He's still going to be able to post. And I think somebody mentioned that's why I had to call him a column, not an article, because it was opinion based. They didn't mention that. They took this, thinking it was sources backing it, and this was stuff that, really, really happened in the year 2025, 2024. And that's kind of what sucks the most, because they got their little bits on First Take from it. They got their Stephen A. reacting to it, the Mad Dogs, the Nick Wrights, all those guys.
Yeah, and Mike Florio.
Yes.
All of those guys who brought up that article, they all said, "Oh, Mike Preston, Baltimore Sun, respect him a lot. You know what I mean? Been around, been in the game a long time." They just took his words for face value, and now you have the actual quarterback, the guy himself, who was being talked about and lied on. He's saying, like, bro, like, and he also said, Lamar Jackson said this. He said, "I don't care about the criticism. I just want to win," or something to that effect, right? I might be paraphrasing, but he said something to that effect. And I'm just glad that our quarterback here in Baltimore is able to compartmentalize a lot of these things that comes up on his timeline, because I'm sure Lamar sees a lot. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Lamar sees the hit pieces from Mike Preston. He sees what Mike Florio says. Hell, I'm sure he even sees a little bit of what we say. I mean, just in little spurts, probably just on his timeline with how the algorithm is, right? But I'm glad that he's able to be mature enough, right? And Lamar Jackson will be, 29 this month?
Yes.
He's going to be 29 this month. I'm glad that he's mature enough to be able to not really take those things seriously and roll with the punches that is, like, national sports media, that comes with national sports media. It's very mature from him. Again, it seems like he's growing up right in front of our eyes. We used to see a young kind of spring chicken, almost naive a little bit, Lamar Jackson, to now a more of a no-nonsense Lamar Jackson, right? And I love that about him. And I also want to bring this up, as we have 87 people watching live right now. Shout out to all of the live viewers. Hello, this is the Purple Rain podcast. Lamar Jackson also said another thing about his health, right? Because a lot of people have been talking this week about, will Lamar Jackson play? Will he not play? Hell, we talked about it on Monday. But Lamar Jackson said this today, and I think it provides a lot of context to who we're going to see and what we're going to see on Sunday. Let's take a listen.
I'm doing a lot of treatment, trying to get that contusion out of there much as possible. But I feel great right now. Yeah.
Feels great. I feel great hearing that, honestly. I know he mentioned he's wearing some extra padding for the back as well, which doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? It'll help him out. So maybe he's expecting to maybe run, slide, dive forward. And if he has to take a knee to the back, he has padding there. Coming from the main source himself, feels great. I'll be playing Sunday. So once again, the First Things First, the ESPN, they don't have to make these, is it Huntley or Lamar? Lamar's playing. They probably had a couple of those segments where they thought, should he play? He's playing. So get that out the way. But for me, it's good news. I'm glad our starting quarterback is playing. 2-time MVP is playing. Best player in the field is playing. I mean, couldn't get any better than that.
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mentioned on Monday, I was saying, like, Lamar Jackson, I feel like if he does play in this game, which, he's saying he will, he's 100% going to play. He feels great. He's starting. I still think the game plan, and we're going to get into our keys to victory, I still think that the game plan should remain with giving the ball to Derrick Henry at minimum 27 times, right? At minimum. Like, I understand wanting Lamar Jackson to be Lamar Jackson and giving him the opportunity to do so. But if you're Todd Monken, and Todd Monken mentioned something today too, which I want to bring this up too. He mentioned, like, yeah, basically they've been hearing the noise around the castle of like, hey, look, you have to run Derrick Henry as many times as possible. You have to wear down these defenses. This is the time of year to do it. And I want to read this quote by Todd Monken. Lamar Jackson, not Lamar. Okay, so this is from Jeff Zaribek. When asked about giving Derrick Henry a career high in carries last week, Todd Monken joked that a few times Henry needed to come out, and he said, I quote, "I've been through that. I was like, no, get his ass back in there," end quote. You know, so it seems like they're finally waking up and realizing, they're finally waking up and smelling the coffee that Derrick Henry is the key to victory, the main key to victory for this Ravens team, especially in the month of December. Well, it's January now. Today's January 1st. Again, Happy New Year to everybody. But Derrick Henry dominated December. You know, we didn't win every game, but he did not have a game where he had less than 100 rushing yards. No game did he have less than 100 rushing yards in December. By the way, we have over 100 people watching live right now. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all for coming through. This is the Purple Rain Podcast. We're talking about Todd Monken talking about the usage of Derrick Henry. Alex, what do you think when you hear Todd Monken say something like that? Does it give you courage, like going into the Steelers game and potentially even into the playoffs, that we're going to see a big dose of Derrick Henry?
Should have happened a long time before. But like we said last year, this is why you sign him for these games. You're not signing him for September against, the Dolphins. You're not signing him for an October game against the Jets. No, you're signing him for December and January and hopefully February games in the cold. December and January, because most likely the Super Bowl will be in a dome or a warm weather place, won't be in a cold weather place. But to get through the AFC, you're going to have to go into a cold weather environment. Now it's New England, but before it was always, Buffalo, it would be Kansas City. We're talking freezing probably every single game. The more carries you give Henry, the better he gets, the more or less that, want to tackle him, like we saw in Green Bay. So I'm glad Monken said this, but like we talked about weeks prior, did we get love bomb last week? I hope not. I really hope not, because the week before you guys took him out. But I feel like you have to. I mean, you're playing. I don't want to, go too far fetched, but you could possibly coach him for your job right now. Because if we miss the playoffs, I hope some uncomfortable conversations happen in that castle.
Oh no, Alex, I think he's totally coaching for his job right now. I mean,
okay.
We're talking about John Harbaugh specifically. He think about it. We're gonna talk more about our keys to victory, our score predictions. I think we both have the Ravens winning this game because it's so painfully obvious, even on the road, that the Ravens should win this game. Right? The Steelers are without T.J. Watt, who has not practiced in full, and it's been said that he needs to practice in full. We're gonna get to the Iward report right after this in just a second, but they're missing T.J. Watt, they're missing DK Metcalf. I think Calvin Austin is gonna play. I think Calvin Austin is probably gonna play. But they're also missing who's the other guy? Darnell Washington as well.
Mm-hmm.
Their offensive line is a little bit patchworky right now. The left guard and the left tackle spot, they've been kind of playing a little bit of musical chairs over on that side of the line. So with that being said, man, the stage is set. The stage is set for the Ravens to absolutely dominate in this game. If John Harbaugh manages to lose this game, I think that there's absolutely no way that if you're Steve Bisciotti, you don't consider moving on from John Harbaugh, because he's had all of the opportunities, every single opportunity. This is a golden opportunity this week to take the division. Again, it's winner takes all. Loser goes home. How do you get sent home by a Steelers team who has basically no weapons? Their best weapon right now is who, Alex? Can you please tell me who their best weapon is right now?
Adam Thielen, Marquez Valdes-Scantling,
Adam Thielen in 2026.
I mean, Freiermuth has 2 catches a game and he's making $48 million. He's basically their Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
He's making a lot of money to get 2 to 3 catches a game.
Yeah. Yeah. As Modi's with a super chat donation says, no matter this season, I want Brian Flores head coach of 2026. Thank you so much for your donation, man. What do you think about Brian Flores?
Like I guess said in the one tweet, him and Max Crosby would tickle my fancy. I would love those both. I just think it'd be what we've been missing: fire at the head coach, and then an edge rusher that can get to home on the quarterback when he play.
Yeah.
I do real quick about the Steelers. Kenneth Gainwell probably is their biggest weapon. I just hope they take him off the field. I hope they have Jalen Warren in more than Kenneth Gainwell. He scares me out the backfield. I will not lie about that. Gainwell is a very good target for them. But outside of that, receiving wise, I'm not really too worried about any of their targets.
Yeah, Purple Rain Parlay coming up in a little bit on this episode. Surprise, surprise. I think we might be able to take the over on Kenneth Gainwell's receptions, right? I don't know what the line is right now. We'll get into that later. Again, the Purple Rain Parlay segment. But Alex, let's go ahead and break down a little bit more of the I-word report. So this is going to be the start of the preview for the Ravens versus Steelers matchup. Alex, who's hurt, who's not? Wait, before that, we got a super chat donation. Hold up. This one's coming in from Void, another one of our members. Thank you so much dropping the 10-piece in the chat. Shout out to you, Void. Happy New Year to you as well. Says Falele has a chance to redeem himself. Not many people want to line up against an almost 400-pound lineman when it's warm, so just imagine the cold. If he ever plans on being physical, now is the time. That's a good point, Void. What do you think about that, Alex?
I want to be delusional here, so allow me to be delusional. Just allow me real quick. We saw Falele probably play his best games in his career last year in the stretch when it got cold out.
That's facts. You were there for some of those games.
I was there for the last 3 home games, and I saw the holes were opening up for Mr. Henry. He had the long run against the Browns. He had long runs against the Steelers. And in the playoffs, obviously, had his long runs and long 40-some-yard touchdown because they didn't want to tackle him.
Yeah.
I think it's a great point. Not saying, you're off the hook for the whole season, but it can allow people to look at you a little bit different. And in these big games, you need it. So if there any time, like you said, to be physical, now is the time. They got their big rookie from Oregon back there, Harmon, who didn't play the first game. So, that's not ideal for us, but you got to find a way. We know how we can beat them. Just get those holes open.
And get this. I just looked up the weather for Sunday night's game. It's going to be 25 degrees. It's going to be 25 degrees. That's football weather. That is below 32 degrees, which means it's below what? Freezing, right? So you give Derrick Henry the football 20 to 30 times. I really don't see a way that the Ravens can lose this game. You make Malik Harrison is playing, right? He's healthy, right? Okay. You make Malik Harrison, you make Patrick Queen, shout out to him again, friend of the show, but you make them tackle Derrick Henry over and over again. If a Daniel Falele can push, displace guys and get out to that second level and make sure that Patrick Queen and Malik Harrison aren't kept clean enough. And by the way, probably the main strategy that the Steelers use to stop the Ravens running game, they use TJ Watt and they crash him down the line of scrimmage, right? To try to tackle Derrick Henry from the backside. They don't have TJ Watt. How is that going to? I just don't see a world where they stop the Ravens' run, the rushing attack in general in this game. Now, what I do think, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself, Alex, you know what? Thank you, Void, for your super chat donation, brother. Let's keep going with the I-word report. My bad.
I see Mr. Loop in the chat. How you doing, Mr. Loop? Hope you have a great New Year's. Had a great night last night. Going on to our I-word report. They have not released it for today yet. I just have yesterday. So for the Ravens from yesterday, only players who didn't practice: Van Noy with the quad, D-Hop, he had just rest, and then Bateman was out sick. As for the Steelers, nobody was missing practice, but like you said, TJ Watt was limited with that lung, and Tomlin on the record has said he has got to be full to play. And if you're thinking about that lung and 25-degree weather in Pittsburgh and such a physical game, it's hard to see the Steelers let him play. I think TJ Watt wants to be out there, but just for pure safety purposes, I don't think it's best for him to play, but I'm just a Ravens fan. Maybe I have the purple glasses on right now. As for the other limited, Isaac Sumalo, their guard, Malik Harrison, linebacker, limited, James Pierre, Calvin Austin, and Brandon Eccles. So we know who's out for them, but it's just my big eyes on TJ Watt right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you mentioned, TJ Watt, not even just talking as like a Ravens fan, just like talking as like a human being, right? I don't think that is very safe for TJ Watt to play football right now. You know, and I'm not saying that because I don't want him to wreck the game against the Ravens or anything like that. But it's just like a lung, like a collapsed lung is nothing to go from, surgery to playing professional football, and having Roger Rosengarten literally stab you in the chest multiple times per game. Like it's just not worth it. I don't think it's worth it. Of course their playoff hopes are on the line. So you may think like, of course, in his heart of hearts, he's a competitor. He wants to play, I'm sure. But I just, for the long run, for the long term, I just don't think that it's a smart move. So, TJ Watt, again, he's probably not going to play, like you said, Tomlin on the record saying that he has to have a full week of practice, of full participating practices, because it is a medical I word. It's not just like a regular, a hamstring or a back or something like that. And like, this is something internal, something serious.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, again, this Steelers team, and we're going to get into the our keys to victory now. This Steelers team, they are beat up, right? They are missing some very, very key pieces. So let's go ahead and get into our Purple Rain preview here with our keys to victory. I'll bring this up on screen. Let me make
sure trying to get that.
There. Take that off. There we go. Share screen there.
There we go.
Boom. All right. So here we see the key advantages that the Ravens have over the Steelers and that the Steelers have over the Ravens in some cases in this game. And again, this is courtesy of NFL Pro. I'll run through these really quick for you guys. And then, Alex, I want you to give us your keys to victory for the Ravens to walk out of this with a W, with a positive record on the season, and going into a home playoff game. Again, stakes are absolutely huge in this one. Absolutely huge. But before we do that, we have another Super Chat donation. Somebody else is making it rain in the chat. And that is Elaine making it rain. Elaine Haney, thank you so much for the 10-piece Super Chat donation. Says, first time listening. Love the facts you guys are giving. Always felt we were going for the Super Bowl even when we were losing. I think we will be scary in the playoffs. Elaine, I agree with you here. I think we're going to be that one team that nobody wants to play. If you let the Ravens in the door, especially if the Ravens look good on Sunday night, and Derrick Henry is running all over the field, and Lamar Jackson looks like he's, even 80% healthy again. Nobody's going to want to play this Baltimore Ravens team in the playoffs. Not the Texans, not the Bills. And look, I'll tell you this, Alex. If the Ravens win this week and they end up hosting the Houston Texans, as you know, I live in Houston. I am going to purposefully go out and run errands all day in a Lamar Jackson jersey. I'm going to be in the grocery store. I'm going to be in the laundromat. Not really the laundromat. I don't know who does that anymore. But I'm going to be everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to just be out and about with my Ravens jersey on. It's going to be like those guys who sit on college campuses and try to like rage bait and be like, hey, like I'm a Ravens fan. Convince me that, we're going to lose this week. It's going to be like one of those. I'm going to be inviting the smoke.
I love it.
I'm going to be inviting the smoke, man. And so, like, that's where I'm at with it. I cannot wait. If the Ravens win this game, nobody's going to want to see us. Elaine, thank you so much for your 10-piece Super Chat donation. We appreciate that. We appreciate you for, this being your first time listening. Welcome to the Rain Gang family. Remember, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you want to come back and hang out with us, we'd appreciate it. We appreciate it. But yeah. So let's go ahead and let's run through the advantages here that the Ravens offense has over the Steelers defense. So one big advantage is rushing versus stacked boxes. The Steelers defense has struggled when they stack the box and try to stop the run. They've struggled to stop running backs. And adversely, the Ravens offense has excelled against rushing against stacked boxes. So what does that tell you, Alex? I mean, that tells you right there, this should be, again, another big Derrick Henry game. And Keaton Mitchell. There's going to be sprinkles of Keaton Mitchell in there too, right?
You would hope so. And another little sprinkle here from Jabari Cruz-Atlas making it rain with a 5-piece saying, "What's up, guys? Those lies by Mike Preston are being exposed. Love to see it." And thank you to Jabari. He brought the Fabian Amadejo up to me. He sent me the clip of it yesterday, and I wouldn't have seen that if he didn't send it to me. So yeah, we do love to see it. And having Lamar kind of exposed it today, saying it's not true, just even better news. Just like I said, it's just good vibes all around. Pressing just kind of getting tossed out the side, and of course Lamar playing. So Thank you for that 5-piece, Jabari. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Appreciate that, Jabari. All right, so let's go ahead and continue here through the rest of these. So also the Steelers actually have the advantage in the pressure. So they like to send pressure. And against the Ravens, especially against the Lamar Jackson-led Ravens, they are going to man up across the board, send pressure at Lamar, probably have a spy out there, and make Lamar Jackson be special on every single passing down, right? Which is why it's important to stay ahead of the sticks so that way you can make sure that you can throw Derrick Henry at them whenever you so please. But let's go ahead and keep going through this. Ravens have an advantage in overall rushing efficiency against the Steelers defense. They have an advantage in designed runs against the Steelers defense. So we'll see if Lamar Jackson, that's going to be another big thing for me, Alex. Will Lamar Jackson, he says he feels great, right? But does he feel great enough, even with that extra equipment that he's going to be wearing on his back, like he said earlier today? Does he feel great enough? Or does Todd Monken have enough faith to call some of these option type of plays where Lamar Jackson could potentially keep it and run it, right? Because we're going to have to threaten that. I mean, let's just be real. A big reason why Tyler Huntley was so effective against the Green Bay Packers is because he was able to get out of that pocket. He didn't have a whole lot of design runs. I think he maybe only had one, if that, right? But he was very decisive running, and that's something that I want to see from Lamar Jackson. On top of the design runs that I think should be a part of the game plan, I want to see Lamar Jackson be more decisive running. Another thing the Steelers have the advantage in is their defense is good against defending the long passes, the deep balls. So we'll see if Lamar Jackson can hit a home run there. Going over to the Steelers offense and the Ravens defense, the Steelers offense has an advantage in throwing against the pressure. And as we know, Aaron Rodgers, he gets the ball out quicker than anybody else in the National Football League, right? He does not want to get hit. And the Ravens defense, they can't get pressure. So much like the first matchup, I talked about this, Alex, when we previewed the Week 14 matchup against the Steelers. I was afraid that not Lamar, but Aaron Rodgers would have all day to throw back there. And it's looking like there's going to be some instances, let's say they get down by a couple of scores or something like that. They're going to have an opportunity. Aaron Rodgers is going to have an opportunity to throw that ball and push it down the field. He's going to have time. Now, like you mentioned in the Iowa report, they're missing a bunch of guys. So Calvin Austin, I expect Nate Wiggins to be all over him in this game. I want to see Nate Wiggins travel with Calvin Austin. I do not care. I want to see him travel, right? But that's going to be a big part for me. Another Super Chat donation.
Oh, thank you, Elaine.
Elaine, thank you so much, Elaine. Says, I will join you with the jersey wearing party. I like how you do Super Chats throughout instead of waiting to the end. Yeah, we got to bring it up. It's number one priority. Number one priority for us when you guys leave donations and, join the memberships and everything like that. We appreciate it to no end. Thank you so much, Elaine. Again, we call it Making It Rain here on the Purple Rain podcast. And again, shout out to you. Welcome to the Rain Gang family. But yeah, join us with the jersey party. Let us know what jersey you're wearing. Yeah. Let us know which jersey you're wearing. I want to know. But okay, so let me run through the rest of these, and I'll let you go with your keys to victory, Alex. Yeah. I'm kind of rambling here.
You're good.
Let me see. So Ravens defense has the advantage in QB scrambles over the Steelers. Steelers offense has the advantage over the Ravens defense when it comes to rushing under the center. Ravens defense has the advantage, a big advantage over the Steelers offense when they're rushing out of shotgun. And the Steelers offense has an advantage over the Ravens when it comes to rushing inside the tackles, which is another interesting one. But Alex, when you look at all of this, and actually, by the way, I want to bring this up to you as well, Alex. If you look at these two insights here, it talks about how the Ravens defense and the Steelers defense both utilize man coverage at a top 10 clip in the league, right? So, again, you're going to see a lot of one-on-one with Nate Wiggins versus Calvin Austin. I think a lot of empty looks where Aaron Rodgers is literally going to know where he wants to go with the football pre-snap, right? So it's going to be very, very important to make sure you throw off the timing, and give somebody time, whether they be Kyle Van Noy, whether they be Mike Green, Travis Jones, somebody, give them time to get home and sack Aaron Rodgers. That's going to be very, very important. But, Alex, what are your keys to victory for the Ravens to win this game and punch their ticket to the playoffs?
I think that Week 14 game, I think we got frustrated by Aaron Rodgers. Did we sack him at all? Or was the only sack when we batted the ball up and he caught it, took it away from Buchanan? Was that our only sack, I want to say?
I don't think we got one.
Okay. I think that frustrated us. I think it started with him running in that touchdown, that, the bootleg, he ran it in, kind of put the ball over the pylon. Don't let him frustrate you. You will get to him. I promise you this. He will not duck under a Mike Green sack again. He won't. I mean, that was
I
a
hope
great
not.
play by him. I just can't see him at his age doing it again. So that's my first key. And my second key, I mean, he's already kind of out there talking a little cocky. He said that he said if you check his career, he hasn't put up back-to-back bad games. He hasn't put many of them back-to-back. So right there from the Ravens defense, you shouldn't need bulletin board material. But at that point, it's kind of saying, I'm probably going to have a good game on you. And if you look at what his old team just did to you, Malik Willis put up, 290 on him, 2 touchdowns, having his way, running for 2. That way he threw for 1, threw to Christian Watson. You have got to sit there and you've got to just keep your head, keep your composure, because those 15-yard penalties, especially against the Steelers, you brought up rage bait. They like to rage bait you. They do. They want to get those, cheap 15-yard flags, move the chains, keep it going. Now, flipping over offensively, I think if I didn't say, run the ball, obviously run the ball, but passing wise, I want to take a key of what we did last week, get the ball out quick. Obviously, Lamar and Huntley are 2 different quarterbacks, but we liked what we saw from Huntley, getting the ball out within, 2 seconds. Let our guys get some yak, like Likely. Give him the ball, let him make a move, get the first down.
Yeah.
Hell, Zay was doing it. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see him hold the ball because, especially with him being hurt per se, he won't be as mobile. He'll still be mobile, but I don't want him to get hurt, get hit again, especially with this line. I don't trust him to hold him for about 4 or 5 seconds. But yeah, Lamar, get the ball out quick. Defense, don't let Aaron Rodgers frustrate you. And also just secondary. I don't want to see us just give so much just soft, just 5-10 yards. That just killed us last week. Killed us.
Yeah.
Christian Watson ate us. Those guys ate us with that. And with how smart Aaron Rodgers is, MVS, Thielen, Scotty Miller, they don't scare me, but they're all vets. And, they'll know how to work to get a first down. Those are my 3 keys.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. Obviously, run the damn freaking ball is the first and foremost one, but I want to hear yours, though.
Yeah. And, I'm going to start here. I think that as I'm sitting here listening to you talk, Alex, I'm thinking that Lamar Jackson, like you mentioned, the rushing game is going to be a big part of this game. I think Lamar Jackson has a good game running the football. Right. And I'm kind of, again, I hate to do this, but I'm foreshadowing to our Purple Rain Parlay segment. But I'm thinking whatever the rushing line is for Lamar Jackson's, rushing yards, I think we take the over on it. I think that Vegas is thinking that, coming off of the I word, right? He's being hurt, him being hurt in the Patriots game. He's not going to run that much. I disagree. Because I think that Lamar Jackson saw how effective Tyler Huntley was. Again, 8 carries for 60 yards, Tyler Huntley against the Packers. He saw how effective that was against that Packers defense. And the same thing stands for the Steelers defense as well, or any defense for that matter. The reason why Lamar Jackson is so dangerous to begin with is because even when you take, as a defensive coordinator, even when you take everything else away, right? When you shut down Mark Andrews, when you're all over Zay Flowers, when you're making sure that Derrick Henry isn't getting the football, Lamar Jackson can still make you wrong. Even when everything else is right and covered up, he can still make you wrong. And that is just deflating for a defensive coordinator. It's the 6-yard runs from the quarterback. It's the 8-yard scramble from the quarterback that really breaks the back of a defensive coordinator. Notice I didn't say the defense, not the players on the field, but the defensive coordinator, right? Derrick Henry breaks the will of the actual defense, the players on the field. But Lamar Jackson scrambling for 8 yards on a 2nd and 6 or something like that, right? And just moving the chains and staying on the field and winning the time of possession battle, that breaks the will of a defensive coordinator, because it's like, okay, now I thought I had the perfect scheme drawn up. Now I have to start throwing shit at the wall and see what sticks, because this guy is just, he's escaping everything. That is going to be, I think, the catalyst to this game. It's my biggest key to victory. I want to see Lamar Jackson run the football. I want to see him run the football. That's my biggest thing.
I mean, Lions right now is 25.5.
25.5. Oh, I'll take the over easily. See, just as I predicted, Alex, I told you, Vegas is not going to think that Lamar Jackson's going to run that much. He's going to have something on his back, something like that. You might think he's not going to run, but I think 14 days of rest for Lamar Jackson, not playing until Sunday night. Again, it's not his leg that got banged up again last time out. It was his back, which he says is feeling great right now. They were working on getting the contusion out of there. There's been constant treatment. His back is fine, and his legs have only had time to get better. He hasn't played the last 2 weeks. I think he's going to run. He's going to run all over the Steelers. You think so?
I definitely like the 25.5 over. You know, it
Yeah.
was at what high 30s a couple weeks ago when he was dealing with a leg eye word. I like it, and then you see the over under is 40.5. We have to talk about that more, but I do want to. I'll save this for our prediction. I'll save what I was going to say. I'll save it. So if you have anything else, you can say it. But I do have some interesting analysis for you.
Okay. Well, I mean, shit. Let's get into it, man. I mean,
All
some
right, all
predictions.
right,
Let's get into it.
yeah.
Let's go.
All right, I'll go first.
Yeah.
Let me just go down memory lane real quick with you guys.
Okay.
I go back. Wow, it's 4 years now, but 3 years and a month. We're gonna go back to what day was this? December 11th, 2022. Anthony Brown had 5 passing attempts. Deshaun Jackson had 2 catches. Kenyon Drake had 2 catches. Chuck Clark had 4 tackles. Jason Pierre-Paul had 4 tackles. Tyus Bowser was playing for the Ravens. Justin Houston was playing. That was the last time we beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Beat them 16-14. Think about that.
Wow.
We've had some good teams since then. Had number
Wait,
one.
that was the last time you said we beat them in Pittsburgh?
That was the last time.
Really?
Yeah.
It's been almost 4 years. Come on.
So 2023 was when we had all those drops in that game. Aguilar, Bateman, Odell, Zay.
Yeah.
Then last year, Russ beat us. We went for 2, didn't have it. So now it's this
We
year.
beat him at home, then beat him at home in the playoffs as well.
Yep.
And we lost earlier this. Wow.
Yep.
That is crazy. And then all the talks about Tomlin being basically damn near undefeated as a home underdog. I mean,
and Lamar hasn't
history would
won.
say we would lose this, right? Go ahead.
And he hasn't won in Pittsburgh since 2019, that MVP year. He has not won, since COVID. Honestly, I hate to say it. If to put it into like a time perspective, that was the last time he won at Pittsburgh. I'm saying this for all. I don't care. Throw him out the window. Throw the home underdog. I don't give a shit.
Talk about it.
27-17, Baltimore Ravens. Game will be over by the fourth quarter. We'll be up 27-10. They'll win a garbage time touchdown. Play Renegade, boo Renegade. Don't care. AFC North champions, 3rd year in a row. First time it's ever happened in this division. Thank you very much. We will see you in the playoffs.
Talk about it, man. I love that. I love that prediction, man. I mean, I'm also predicting a 2-score victory for this Ravens team. But before I get into that, we do have another Super Chat donation. Elaine making it rain here on this episode 365 of PRP. Thank you so much, Elaine. Elaine says, Sudden Death, totally agree about Lamar. I think this is going to be his best game. They are going to plan to stop number 22, and Lamar will be the one, especially with all the smokes he's been getting. I totally agree. Again, I think that, again, the design runs are going to be important. The read option runs are going to be very, very important. I want to see Lamar Jackson, pull that ball from Derrick Henry. The whole defense is flowing towards Henry, and Lamar Jackson escapes out the back door, and he's maybe one-on-one with, I don't know, Alex Highsmith or somebody like that, and he just beats him around the corner. I cannot wait to see that happen on Sunday night on Peacock. I will be glued to my television waiting to see Lamar Jackson tote that football. Because, again, 14 days of rest for those legs, he's going to be... I think he's going to be dominant on the ground. Again, we've already got 2 legs for the Purple Rain Parlay so far. As we're going through this, we've already got 2. We just need 1 more, right? We're almost there. But appreciate you so much for your Super Chat donation, Elaine. We truly do appreciate all your contributions on this episode of the show. So my score prediction in this one, I'm going to go, I think for the first time in a long time, this Ravens team, with Lamar Jackson at quarterback, they're going to put up 30 points. I'm going to predict a 33-17 victory for the Ravens. I think you do see a garbage time touchdown, because I think the score is like 33-10 for most of it, or something like that. 30-10 towards the end, but they get a garbage time touchdown and make it a little bit closer, a little bit more respectable. But once this running game gets going, and I do believe it will get going, I think you're going to see the Steelers, I don't want to say necessarily quit, but I think you see some frustration out of Aaron Rodgers. I think you see some kind of just like going through the motions on the sideline, Mike Tomlin. I think you see some frustrated defensive players as they realize they can't tackle this guy, Derrick Henry, but we keep throwing him at him. And I think it will get ugly. I think it will get ugly. I think we take the division on Sunday on the road. Again, no renegade. There's not going to be any chance. There's probably going to be fire Tomlin chance. The Steelers, ironically, they've already secured a winning season, right? Mike Tomlin has already secured a positive record on the season, which is just funny to me. It'll add insult to that I word, right? When if they lose, right? I don't want to get too much on my high horse. I do think that the Ravens will win, but it could be very well. We could be checking in on Monday for a Purple Pain podcast episode, and it's going to be totally different, right? But yeah, I'm going to go 33-17 in this one. I think that the Ravens win in a big way, and it really puts the entire league on notice going into the playoffs, the AFC specifically. The Houston Texans and Buffalo Bills, who are the most likely matchups for the Ravens if they do win this week. I think it puts them on notice specifically and says, like, hey, look, man, we got to go to Baltimore and win. I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough out for whoever plays the Ravens, but I think it's going to be a good game, though.
ISO said, I'm getting my belt ready for him, Mr. ISO. I got mine right here. I'm ready for it. Thankfully, it was right next to me. So I didn't have to move much. But if we were to win, I promise you on Monday, I would do my best Michael Irvin impersonation with the belt. I will try my best as long as it's belt ass. So give me something for it to look to. But I love it. I do love our predictions. And our pass rush is still stinky. I'm not going to lie. I just don't think Aaron Rodgers he's not mobile. I think we'll get to him maybe 3 to 4 times. I think it could be one of those games where it's like, wow, where has this been all year? But thankfully you saved it for this final game. Definitely turnovers. You've got to have them. None of that soft. I want to see some Preston. I think Wiggins can definitely get his. But I'm going to actually roll with our bold prediction. I'm rolling with the Sutton. I'm rolling with that Kyle Hamilton sack. I think if there's any time to have it, it's now. I think it's not. I think he comes up unblocked. I don't think Warren or Gainwell sees him. They miss their assignment, hits him in the back, and a fumble. I really do.
I love that. As you know, I've been campaigning for a Kyle Hamilton sack since week 6, since they moved him closer to the box. Like, I've been thinking he's going to get that. And I think he's maybe gotten 1 or 2 or something like that. I think he got one on Shador against the Browns. He hit the little celly or whatever. But in this game, like you said, I mean, the pass rush is not up to par, right? And I think that they're going to be sending extra guys, a.k.a. Kyle Hamilton, after Aaron Rodgers, and I think he does get home. I do agree with that. But for me, my bold prediction, I'm going to go with a Tez Walker touchdown in this one. Yeah. I'm going to go with a Tez Walker touchdown. I think that in this game, if the Ravens, if they can get up by 2 scores around like second half or something like that, I think you see some Tez Walker getting some snaps. And we saw a connection earlier in the year with Lamar Jackson to Tez. It was kind of few and far between, but when they did connect, it was far down the field. And I think that happens again in this game. Did you mention any of their DBs banged up? Or any of their DBs banged up in this one?
Yeah, one of them was. Let me see. Let me go back to their iWord report because I want to see if maybe they updated it for today. Let me just double check.
Yeah.
It was one of their DBs was. Oh, they updated today. Perfect. Okay. And there it is. James Pierre, cornerback. Did not practice today. And Brandon Echols limited again today with a groin.
So I think the deep ball will be there. I think that the deep ball will be there in some capacity, and I think you see the connection with Lamar Jackson to Tez Walker. I don't know what the odds are on that. We're not going to put it on our Purple Rain parlay because, again, that's a very bold prediction, but it's my bold prediction. I do think that Tez Walker can get a touchdown in this game.
Wouldn't that be something? That's icing on the cake right there. It really is. I don't want to go too much on our tangent, but when I see like how the Lions use Isaac Tesla, I'm like, we've seen Tez Walker. He can get in the end zone. You know what I mean? Like, he could be a good red zone target. Give him the ball in the red zone. Now, obviously not when it's, close. He's still a young guy, but if you're up by, a score or two, I'd love to see him get some red zone targets, and this could be the time. Who knows? Yeah.
I saw somebody say something very interesting in coach's chat the other day when I was doing Ravens Roundup. They said that Tez Walker is like a baby AJ Brown. And I thought about that, and I was like, I kind of like that comparison. You know what I mean? Like, I can low-key see it. And what it brought me back to was that preseason game against the Cowboys, I believe it was, where Cooper Rush was just spamming Tez Walker, right? He had like maybe 4 or 5 catches in the first half. And, he was running every type of, out routes. We're talking inside slants. We're talking, go routes, things like that. And some of the go routes we've seen in the regular season with Lamar Jackson, they've connected on some. I think that, if the Ravens, Tez Walker can potentially be the Keaton Mitchell of the wide receiving core. Just kind of like this unsung hero, this guy who we don't really utilize that much, but when you give him an opportunity and then you give him a couple of opportunities, you start to say, okay, let's see what this guy really has. And he actually shows you that he can produce. He could be potentially the wide receiver of the future. And he could be an impactful wide receiver in the playoffs. I know there's Zay Flowers, who dominates the target share, Mark Andrews, Hopkins, Bateman, all those guys. But there's only going to be but so many times. My point is, there's only going to be but so many times that Tez Walker makes a play. And, the coaching staff just says, all right, well, go back to the bottom of the bench, right? Like, they're going to have to give him snaps eventually. Lamar Jackson, I think, has, again, a good connection with him, and I hope we see it more this week. But okay, that is going to be our Ravens versus Steelers preview. Again, we hope that the Ravens can get this W, man, so we can come in here on Monday and have a good episode and not a Purple Pain podcast episode. By the way, still over 100 people watching, over 120 people watching live right now. Shout out to you guys. Again, this is the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, a Baltimore Ravens podcast YouTube channel. If that sounds good to you and you like Ravens content, make sure you give us a follow on Twitter at Sutton Def and at Simply ES10, and subscribe to Purple Rain Podcast on YouTube. By the way, I do see Chris M., one of our members in the chat. Shout out to you, Chris. I see Tila, our moderator here. Shout out to you, Tila, holding it down in the chat. I see you. Happy New Year to y'all as well. And we do have another super chat donation. This one's coming in from Void. Appreciate you, Void, for making it rain, kicking off the new year right. Appreciate you, Void, dropping the 5-piece in the chat. Void says, I'm calling a David Ojabo strip sack. Hold on now. A David Ojabo strip sack? Honestly, I don't want that. I want to see this team move off of David Ojabo. I do not want a fluke week 18. Don't love bomb me. Don't you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the theme. Honestly, like, don't love bomb me, David Ojabo, with a strip sack. I don't want that. But Void says, give A-Rod a 20-minute head start to Cancun over his team on a hit similar to the one he gave Richardson in preseason. Oh, like a D cleater. Knock the wind out of Aaron Rodgers. Oh, yeah, he'd quit.
I'd love that. I would honestly love that. Wow, David Ojabo.
We know you don't like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he got a couple of them, man, when his first year and second year with us. His first year he was hurt, came in, I think, the last couple of games, got a strip sack, I think, on Watson. Had one against Stroud week 1 of the 23 season. He showed some promise, and then it just went out the door. Not too sure, man, but that is, when we say bold, that is a very bold prediction. I don't think it can get much bolder than that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a bold prediction for sure. And thank you so much for your super chat donation, Void, making it rain here on this episode 365 of PRP.
I got you real quick.
Okay.
Bring up that Colts game. Wouldn't it be nice if we got something else to have in that Colts game and a punt return touchdown from LeJontay Wester?
Ooh, you might be cooking now. We haven't seen too much from LeJontay, but go ahead.
I would love for a big special teams play to just give us the ball at the 40. They're 40. They're 30. Yeah. I would love for something like that because we need it. You can use everything here. That game against the Texans at home in the playoffs, Devin Duvernay, big kick return. We had to go, 50-some yards in the second half start off? LeJontay. Yeah. Give me that big breakout like you got against the Rams, that punt. Give me one more like that. In this game, I would take it.
Yeah, I would take that too. I would definitely take that. Real quick before we get into our NFL Week 18 picks officially, when we talk about John Harbaugh, let's talk about the hypotheticals really quick. If the Ravens were to lose this game, what do you think would happen at the head coaching position? Does the game need to go a certain way for John Harbaugh to potentially be fired? Or what are your thoughts on John Harbaugh's job after this game if the Ravens were to lose?
You can go. I've kind of felt that way. It depends what type of fight we show. But even then, you should be putting up a fight for a Week 18 game against your biggest rival in their house where you haven't won in 3 years.
Yeah.
You should be showing some fight. And if not, it's an indictment of the players as well, but it's the coach for ultimately not having them prepared.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I think that, unfortunately, if the Ravens were to, again, knock on wood, lose this game, but if they were to lose it by, I'd say, less than 5 points, Harbaugh's probably going to keep his job. Mm-hmm. If the Ravens were to lose this game by 2 possessions or more, then I think that the seat would be too hot for Steve Bisciotti not to make a move and move on from John Harbaugh. So it's going to be massively important, I think, for the Ravens to it's got to go one of 2 ways. We either win or we lose very badly. I mean, it's no in between, because if we lose and it's a close game, that'll be just enough justification. Like if we lose and like there's a key turnover by let's say like a Derrick Henry fumble, again, knock on wood, or a Zay Flowers fumble or interception, something like that really like swings the game towards the Steelers and they end up winning a close one. Media is going to be able to point to John Harbaugh's not at fault. Steve Bisciotti's not going to be. He's going to be able to point to saying John Harbaugh's not at fault, and most importantly, John Harbaugh is going to be able to point to, hey, look at the mistakes our players made. It's not on me. I got the play sheet. You saw me. I'm more involved now, right? By the way, what were your thoughts on that? Kyle Van Noy talked about that earlier this week. He was talking to, I think, Kay Adams on her show, and he was saying like, yeah, I mean, John Harbaugh, he's come up to me on the sidelines multiple times, but it's never been with the play sheet, so it's good to see him more involved, which would imply that he hasn't been as involved as he might have should been, right? So, Alex, what were your thoughts on that?
It was definitely eye-opening, taking this long. I feel like you should have had at least, when we're 1-5 maybe. I'm glad he said it, though. He probably isn't going to be able to go back on there now after saying that because it made the coach look pretty bad. But yeah. I guess better late than ever, but still shouldn't have taken that long. And, as the head coach, you should be involved in every aspect. But I guess maybe he had more hands in the basket than the other basket. I think he was more involved on defense rather than offense, with the whole Zach Orchuk Pagano thing. And now I think he's like at the offense, well, let me try to help out there. That's truly what I think it was.
Yeah, and it really feels like we talked about earlier on the show how Todd Monken was saying today that, basically they're going to sell out and use Derrick Henry. I think that they are willing to live and die by number 22 at this point. If we do lose, you're not going to be able to say that we didn't use Derrick Henry enough because that's going to be the number one thing that most people can point to if the Ravens were to lose this game. Okay, well, how many carries did Derrick Henry get? Did he get enough? Right? If he didn't, then that's on the coaching staff. So I think that they'll definitely, they'll load up 22 at least 27 to 30 times in this game, I would imagine. But, I mean, it is a net positive that you see John Harbaugh with the play sheet. We want him to be more involved, right? I want him to be successful as the Ravens head coach. I want us to win a Super Bowl, another Super Bowl under John Harbaugh. I do. Right? But those type of things don't happen unless you're more hands-on as the leader of this franchise, as the leader of this locker room, So, again, net positive him holding that on the sideline. Now, I think that wraps up our preview of the Ravens versus Steelers game. Alex, you got anything else for me before we get into picks?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, with that being said, this is going to be our last Purple Rain pick segment of the 2025-2026 season. Alex, has been a long year. We've been back and forth, but I think in week 18 with all the storylines and all the the playoff implications and non-competitive games, I think we should be able to do pretty well this week. What do you think?
I think so, and I think for me, I've been trusting too many teams and they've let me down a lot. I don't know if you feel the same way. You pick a team and they just find a way to screw you. So I think we've learned our lesson. It is.
It's always the Bucks. All right, let's go ahead and get into our NFL Week 18 pick segment.
Yes, and here we are. Like you said, Week 18, our final picks segment of the regular season. Obviously with the playoffs, but this one is going to be a little bittersweet. I mentioned it starting off not tomorrow, Saturday. Thinking of Saturday, but tomorrow. No, I'm sorry. Saturday, 4:30 p.m. 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. Weekend has not started yet. Panthers and Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. I think Baker is playing hurt. I don't think he is fully healthy. And like we said it before, in big games they step up. They play up to their competition, that being the Panthers. I'm picking the Panthers to beat the Buccaneers and to win the NFC South. And for Bryce Young to really kind of make a statement.
Yeah, I'm also going to pick the Panthers to win this game. I mean, it's winning you're in, right?
It is.
For the Panthers. Yeah, winning you're in. So I think that they have all the motivation. Again, the Bucs have been one of the worst teams in the NFL in this second half of the season. I don't know what happened to Baker Mayfield. I don't know what happened to Emeka Ibuka. Mike Evans is going to miss his 1,000-yard season for the 16th season in a row or something like that. I think he needs 500 yards to satisfy. I just don't think that the Bucs have it right now. Give me the Panthers in this one. But before we move on, we do have a Super Chat donation. This one's coming from Quincy Foreman in the chat, dropping the $2 in the chat. Man, appreciate you making it rain. Says Ardarius Washington strip sack and fumble recovery touchdown. Ooh, you getting a little specific right there, Quincy. I like that, though. I didn't even think about Ardarius. He'd be making plays.
He already had the one on Drake May. I mean,
Yeah.
if he can get to Drake May, who is mobile, he can get to Aaron Rodgers. He can he can do it. I like this. I like this a lot.
I love it. I love it. I mean, we're talking about maybe we should have put that in our bold prediction. Maybe not a Kyle Hamilton sack, but an Ardarius Washington strip sack. Can you imagine? Oh my goodness, man. And then you mentioned the fumble recovery touchdown. You talking about a trifecta? Ardarius Washington, he deserves some money, man. He deserves some money. But let's keep on rolling here. Appreciate the donation, Quincy.
Yes, now moving on to this Saturday night game. Seahawks and 49ers in San Francisco. It's for the one seed, I believe, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm torn here because the Niners, the fact they are here with all the guys they have out, you know what I mean, defensively, their leaders are out. But the Seahawks, how good they've been playing, I'm taking the Seahawks here. But I think the Niners last longer in the playoffs. Could be a bold prediction. I guess the conference championship, but I got the Seahawks winning this.
Okay. I think that this game. Wait, really quick. What's the spread on this one?
Ooh, what's gonna tell me the spread?
It's got to be 2.5, 3.
Let me pull up your scam duel. It is 1.5. Leaning towards the Seahawks.
Okay, Seahawks minus 1.5. You know, I'll actually take the Seahawks to cover that minus 1.5 in this one. I just think that the defense, I mean, Brock Purdy, he looked phenomenal for most of that game last week, right, against the Bears. However, Brock Purdy has shown us time and time again that he is a little bit mistake prone, right? He's shown us that multiple times this season. I think that Mike McDonald, who famously destroyed Brock Purdy in the San Francisco 49ers on Christmas Day with our Ravens, right? I think he does it again. I think he does it again, man. Give me the Seattle Seahawks, and to get that 1 seed, and Mike McDonald and Sam Darnold and all those guys, they ride into the playoffs feeling really good. Give me the Seahawks.
All right, now moving on. Packers and the Vikings. Vikings in this one. I think the Packers, Jordan Love clear concussion protocol, but he won't be playing.
Yeah, I'm going to go Vikings as well. I think that the Packers, don't really have anything to play for right now. I think they locked up the 7 seed, I want to say it is.
Yep.
Yeah, so give me the Vikings in this one. Just playing for pride. They're going to go down swinging. Give me the Vikings.
Cowboys, Giants in New York. Give me the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'll also take the Cowboys in this one. Another meaningless NFC East game. Give me the Cowboys.
Saints and Falcons. I think there is some stipulation here. I think if the Falcons beat the Saints, I think it's some weird thing going on, but I know if the Panthers win, they're in. With that being said, though, I actually the Saints beating the Falcons in this game. I know how good they looked against the Rams. I really like Tyler Shuck. I like what he's doing with the Saints. I think they're riding high momentum. This might be my upset of the week.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints, they look like, they came into this season having no expectations, but they're leaving this season with a little bit of hope, right? A little glimmer of hope. And Tyler Shuck, he's been looking really good in the past, month and some change now. I am also going to take Shuck and the Saints to beat the Falcons in this one.
Browns and Bengals.
By the way, really quick. Did you see that strip sack that Chase Young had last week?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, literally just bully ball, just took it from him.
I don't
understand. Yeah, exactly. I don't understand why Chase Young didn't end up being better than he is.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
He was unreal his rookie year with the Commanders. Well, at the time, the Washington football team. He was unbelievable. Almost got them to beat the Buccaneers, eventual Super Bowl champions that year. Him and Heineke.
Yeah, Heineke. Yeah, I remember that rushing touchdown from Heineke in that game. Good times. But yeah, go ahead. Who's the next one?
Browns and Bengals. Thanks for the help, Browns, but I had the Bengals winning this one.
This is tough for me. I think that this one is going to be very close. However, give me the Browns. Give me the Browns in this one. I think that, Myles Garrett's going to be playing with his hair on fire. He's going to want to get that sack. And not only is he going to get one, he's going to want to crush that record, and really put it out of reach. So I think that he goes for maybe 2-3 sacks in this one. That kills a couple of Burrow's drives. And, the Browns defense overall is really good. I don't see the Bengals just having fun like they have the last couple of weeks against this Browns defense. Give me the Browns in this one. And a close one, though. I'll take the Browns.
All right. Moving on, the Titans and the Jags. I like the Jags in this one, but the spread's 12.5. The way Cam Ward's been playing in the Titans, they've been fighting. They haven't been winning every game, but they've been fighting. I would take the Jags and maybe the Titans spread.
Yeah, I'm gonna ditto that. What are the I don't know what the implications are if the Jags win or lose in this one.
They still have to win. They have to win this for the division.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Jags, and I will also take the plus 12.5 for the Titans because, like you said, Cam Ward has been coming on. That's another team. The Titans came into the season, not a whole lot of expectations, leaving the season with a glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you there.
He made one throw last week that had my jaw on the floor. It was I don't know if you saw what throw I'm talking about. It was like off balance. He threw it. It was a sick throw. If you get a chance to look at it.
Yeah. I know he had one that didn't count or something. It didn't count, but it was insane. I can't remember, but no, Cam Ward, he looks like he's going to be the real deal going into next season. But yeah, we can move on.
Moving on, the Colts and the Texans. I think Riley Leonard starting for the Colts. Phillip Rivers is done. Texans in this one.
Yep. I'm also going to take the Texans. They're going to be flying high into the playoffs. And again, hopefully we see them. I really want to see the Texans round one of the playoffs. Again, Ravens got to make it, knocking on wood, got to take care of business against Pittsburgh. But if they can, and the Houston has to travel to Baltimore, I'm going to be insufferable here in Houston. I will. But I'll take the Texans in this one.
This next one's interesting to me. Chargers, Broncos. Jim Harbaugh has come out, resting the starters.
Yep.
Basically giving your division rival a free run at the number 1 seed. I got the Broncos winning this and being the number 1 seed.
Yep, no brainer for me. No Herbert, no chance. I mean, barely an offensive line out there. Give me the Broncos.
Yeah. This one, Chiefs and Raiders. This is like the blah game. Like, okay, I guess Chiefs. I mean, the Raiders are awful. They went the number 1 pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Raiders in this one. Because if the Raiders win, then they won't have the number 1 pick, right? And I think that the Chiefs want the Raiders to not have that number 1 pick so they don't get that Mendoza kid out of Indiana, and they can't fix their quarterback situation. So I'm going to take the Chiefs to kind of capitulate this game early, kind of punt on this game early. I'll take the Raiders in this one.
See, if I'm the Chiefs, I would, kind of want to just... The season's over, you know what I mean? Like, your quarterback's out, just hopefully get a better draft pick. Hopefully, it's not anything crazy for them because less than they need, but rich get richer. Dolphins, Patriots. Give me the Patriots in this one.
Yeah, for me, definitely Patriots in this one. I mean, I think Mike McDaniel may be coaching for his job a little bit.
Yeah.
But even still, I mean, the Patriots, I don't think the Dolphins have any answers for them offensively, defensively. Give me the Patriots.
Cardinals, Rams. And I'm a big McVay guy, big Rams guy. Not sure what the hell Monday was. Not sure what that was at all. That's now their second bad loss, and they have both come to NFC South teams. The first being the Panthers. That was a bad loss for them. And now the Falcons. Stafford looked off his game. The picks was not right. I think they bounce back here. I think they are missing Devontae Adams, having somebody next to Puka. But you got to get it right here to go into the playoffs with at least some type of momentum.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Rams to win this one. By the way, did you think that Puka Nacua caught that ball on the sideline?
Asking a Ravens fan about what is a catch and what isn't a catch. Oof. Oof.
You're right.
I thought so, but I guess the higher ups were.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I get it. Like it looked like he had control of that ball, albeit with one hand. He gets 2 feet down, but then as he's coming to the ground, the ball kind of
Yeah, that's true though.
It comes loose, but at the same time, it's like he never really lost control of it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's weird to me, but I'm okay with them ruling it not a catch. Let's move on.
Yeah, it's not like we're losing sleep over it compared
Yeah.
to likely. Moving on now to the Lions and Bears. Give me the Bears in this one. Lions season's over. Not really much to play for.
Yeah, Lions, man, really fell off a cliff this year, man. I don't know what happened. They looked like they were going to be one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to take the Bears in this one. The Bears, again, Caleb Williams really starting to look like that franchise quarterback that we thought he would turn into. You know, it's finally starting to happen. Him and Ben Johnson, I think that they're only going to get better as the years goes on. This is only the beginning of the Chicago Bears' success. I truly do believe that. Young quarterback, young coach, they're going to be around for a long time. I'll take the Bears in this one.
It's fine with the Lions. I hope we win on Sunday because we're a similar team. We made the conference championship 2 years ago, lost in the divisional round. Now they missed the playoffs, and we unfortunately may miss it. We could miss. I hope we don't. But two very talented teams, two teams that were slated to be in the Super Bowl at the end of the season, and now both have had subpar seasons. So it's seeing how they went. I hope we at least make the playoffs. But it is a fall from grace for those Detroit Lions. Moving on now to the Jets and the Bills. Allen hasn't practiced the past 2 days, which is something to keep your eye on for sure.
Why though? You know why?
His foot, I believe.
Foot. Okay. Go ahead. Who do you got?
I still think they beat the Jets, though.
Yeah, I do also think that they'll beat the Jets, but man, the AFC is so wide open, bro. It's so wide open, which is what gives the Ravens, this is like their best shot. I mean, if they can look really good in this Steelers matchup, I think that they're going to be favored against whoever they play in the wild card, whether that be the Bills, whether that be the Texans, again, because it's going to be at home. If we're going to go to the playoffs, we're going to have a home playoff game, right? It's a foregone conclusion. So, I'm going to go with the Bills in this one.
Yeah, Killer, he quit. He quit on his team. Not a good look for him. Not a good look. I mean, if we're just doing what they did with Lamar, when is that think piece going to drop for the Bills? You think the Buffalo media is going to do it to him?
Never.
The video games, falling asleep in the meetings. No. Moving on now to the Commanders and Eagles in Philly. Give me the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Eagles. Eagles, man, trying to ride that momentum going into the playoffs. I think that the Eagles will probably be one of those teams that nobody really wants to see in the NFC, so and I think that it's most likely for if the Eagles, when the playoffs do start, they're probably going to play the Rams, I want to say, which is going to be a great matchup. That was an awesome matchup in the divisional round, I want to say, last season in the playoffs. But yeah, I'll take the Eagles in this one.
Yeah, yep. Right now, Eagles, Rams are what it looked like. And then obviously the Ravens Steelers last game of the week. We have the Ravens, but I'll tell you this: the Eagles' defensive front is absolutely just disgusting, nasty. I think if they want to win a Super Bowl, it'll have to be those guys again, just getting turnovers. And Tom Brady, 7 rings. Where did I get those autographed jerseys? The Ravens app. It's the auction. Got them all off of auction there.
Nice.
All
Yeah.
certified.
Which ones do you have back there again?
I have Jonathan. You can't see I have a Patrick Queen one LSU, but I have Jonathan Ogden, Michael McCurry, Vonta Leach, and over here, Jacoby Jones. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's really cool. You got a bunch of Ravens legends up there, and he let you know right there, Tom Brady, 7 rings, where you can get those autographed jerseys from. Yeah. Got to get the auctions, man. Hit those auctions. Win those auctions. But appreciate the super chat donation, man. Appreciate you. He says, what site?
It's the Ravens app. Right? Like, if you have the App Store, go on the Ravens app, and you'll see auctions on there.
Okay. Yeah. Ravens app on the App Store, and check out the auctions tab. Appreciate the super chat donation, Tom Brady, 7 rings. Let's keep it moving, though.
I think it's time for some lays, right?
Oh, were we done with the picks?
That was it.
Oh, shoot. Well, shoot, yeah. I mean, I guess it's time to make some money. Let's go ahead and get into our Purple Rain Parlay segment. Here we go.
Exceptions. I know that's what you said. So, what do we think? We're at a plus 239 right now with those 2 picks already.
Wait, say it again. I don't think you were in the in the thing.
Lamar Jackson over 25.5 rushing yards, and Kenneth Gainwell over 4.5 total receptions.
It's 4.5. Okay,
it's 4.5.
I still like that though.
His yards are at 29.5.
I think I like the receptions. I think just from like a trust standpoint, I think that Aaron Rodgers, he's one of the only guys, Kenneth Gainwell is one of the only guys that Aaron Rodgers trusts at the moment to throw the football to. So yeah, I like that. And then of course the Lamar Jackson over 25.5 rushing yards. I love that. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people running the football this week. What else are you thinking, Alex?
If we're using our predictions as any type of benchmark, Ravens money line or Ravens spread, spread is 3.5. We have us hammering that.
-3.5 Ravens. So if the Ravens can win by 4 or more points, I mean, I like that as well. It's not the sexiest pick.
Or we could do something else.
We still got the lotto. You know what I'm saying? We do have the lotto. So I think we stick with that. I think that's 3 relatively safe legs. I mean, Lamar Jackson, again, he's going to run. I mean, the threat of Lamar Jackson running has to be present in this game. It has to be present. Or else the Steelers are going to be able to pin their ears back, get after him, crash down the line of scrimmage, tackle Derrick Henry before he gets going. I like that. 3-leg parlay right there. What does that get us to again?
Plus 482, which is beautiful.
Pretty nice odds too. I like that.
Lamar Jackson over 25.5 rushing yards. Kenneth Gainwell over 4.5 total receptions. Baltimore Ravens 3.5 spread for a grand total of plus 482. Tara says I would take total points. Let's see what the total points are. Ravens 22.5 for the Ravens.
Yeah, I would definitely take the over on the Ravens points, over 22.5 for sure.
First likes to pick except the spread. We're taking the spread because we both have us, our predictions and score predictions have us covering that. I feel like if Lamar has a good game rushing on the ground, I feel like that spread should be able to be hit.
Yeah. Again, like you said, if the Ravens can establish a run game and they can dominate time of possession, there's no reason why they should not win this game by 4 or more points. There's just no reason, because the Steelers shouldn't even have that many opportunities, right? They should be going into the second half like pressing, feeling like they have to, you know what I mean, get something going. But I mean, that's just me. I agree with you, Taurus. I do think that the total points we should take the over on, but the spread, I love the spread too. So let's do a lotto.
All right. I know you had your bold prediction, the Tez Walker. His odds are obviously going to be insane. I'm going to go to rushing real quick, and one Keaton Mitchell. His over-under is 18.5 rushing yards, and obviously this is a lotto, so we can be a little bit delusional, and delusional I will. Keaton Mitchell 30-plus rushing yards, plus 225.
You said over rushing yards? Say it again.
His over-under right now is 18.5, but since it's a lotto, we can be a little bit delusional. I have plus 225 for 30 yards.
I like that. I mean, if our game script is going to go the way we think it's going to go, and the Ravens are up going into the fourth quarter, we could definitely see some preservation of Derrick Henry, which means enter Keaton Mitchell, and he could pop off a big run. Change of pace. Of course, they're going to be preparing very, very heavily for Derrick Henry. They know who Keaton Mitchell is, but they know who the hammer is in Derrick Henry. So, yeah, I mean, I like that for a lotto play. Sure, let's go for it.
Cool, perfect. You have anything you're thinking of receiving wise? Anybody that
let's look at Zay Flowers. Okay, let's do it. Zay Flowers, last time out he had 8 catches for 124 yards against the Steelers. I do think that his over on receiving yards, I don't know, I don't want to do a touchdown, but I can see like but then again, if it's going to be a run heavy game, do we really want to go? You know what I mean, Alex? What about tight ends?
So for a likely 22.5 over under, Andrews 28.5.
How about we go likely in this
one? Okay.
Yeah. How about we go likely for, what do you want to do? 30 plus, 40 plus? I could see it. quick game was a big part of last week's game plan. I think that they continue that this week. I think that you see Isaiah Likely with the ball in his hands. Maybe not a whole lot, but I think he catches it over the middle, makes one guy miss as he's known to do, and get upfield. So I like that. I like that.
I'll do 30 plus. I think Likely's a big game player. Oh, the Ravens have waived Ben Cleveland. Just came out.
Oh wow, shocker, right?
Yeah, real shocker. I think he could have two catches, 35 yards. One could be Lamar extending the play, and Likely plays backyard football, catches it 25 yards there.
Yeah, I agree. Let's do it.
Cool. We're at now plus 585.
Gotta get to 1,000. Gotta get to 1,000, man. What do we like? I'm thinking here. Do we want to go? Let's take an under on a Steelers player. I'm feeling.
Okay. This is good. Let me look at the receiving props. So they have props for Jonnu Smith, Jalen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and Pat Fryermuth.
Okay.
I think they're all pretty low for them. Jonnu Smith at 15.5, Fryermuth 31.5, MVS at 27.5. They don't have DK Metcalf won for 148 on us last time we played him. Who is going to get those 7 targets? You know what I mean? That he had last game.
Yeah.
They'll be throwing the ball this game.
So what are you saying? Who are we going to go with?
Because Fryermuth got his in one catch last week in the final drive for them.
Yeah, I don't like Fryermuth. I think he's going to be a big target in this one.
MVS is a deep ball guy, but if Calvin Austin's playing, he'll be the deep ball threat.
So maybe MVS under? And what's his line at again? I'm sorry.
27.5. That's his bread and butter, though, is a deep ball. And Taurus is here. MVS, I can see him burning someone. Yeah, especially in our secondary.
Somebody going to get cooked at some point.
Let me see rushing because we held Josh Jacobs to 3 yards last week.
That's true. Had more carries than yards.
Jalen Warren 48 yards. Kenneth Gainwell 29.
I like the under on Warren. I do. I like the under. If we can hop out to a nice little lead, and then they're forced to throw for sure. What does that bring us to?
Plus 1,069.
Let's do it. I love it.
So
I'll take it.
To recap, the Purple Rain Parlay Lotto. Gamble responsibly. Don't put much on this. Keaton Mitchell 30 yards. Isaiah Likely 30 yards. Jalen Warren under 48.5 rushing yards.
There we go. I love it. Let's do it. Again, like my guy Alex said, please gamble responsibly. All right. So it's been a great episode 365 of PRP. Again, the Ravens have a must-win, winner-takes-all matchup coming up. They got to win this one. Hopefully they can punch their ticket to the playoffs. But listen, it's the new year. Wishing nothing but peace, love, and prosperity to everybody watching this live stream. We appreciate you guys for rocking out with us for all these years now, and now we're in 2026, right? We got some big things planned for you guys this year. So again, please, if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to also like the video, comment down below what you think, your score predictions, your keys to victory, your bold predictions, anything you got. Leave them down below in the comments section. Again, we love you guys. We appreciate you guys. And with that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out.
Yeah. Thank you for coming through. Enjoy the new year. Hope everybody was safe. That was my biggest worry. Is always being safe on New Year's Eve. Glad to see a lot of you guys here. Have a great weekend. And hopefully we come back on Monday. AFC North champions for the 3rd straight year in a row. Wouldn't that be something? And we can talk about, possible, who we're playing in the playoffs. That would be something great. So I love you. I appreciate you. As always, stay positive and test negative.
Yes. And never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. This has been episode 365 of PRP. We're going to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.